Hi, I'm Janine and this is Janine Sews. I talk about sewing a wardrobe for a woman over 50, and today's video is about my golf wardrobe. I started playing golf again last year after being away for many years, and I had to get myself some clothes. So I thought it was time to give sewing activewear knits a try. I took a look around in the local stores and there's not much here. We're in a small place. And then one day I noticed on Fabric Mart that they had a whole section of activewear fabrics. So I looked at what they had and picked out two different pieces of fabric. This cherry pink polyester Lycra activewear knit and this ivory Lycra Tricot activewear knit. And I ordered a bunch of both pieces of fabric. When I got the fabric, I took a look in my storage closet with my fabric and discovered I had a piece of stretch Bengaline that I had picked up from Julie's Picks last year at Fabric Mart, and the fabric coordinated really nicely. So I went from thinking I was going to make myself just a top and a jacket to having everything that I needed to make a whole outfit. So I wound up sewing a jacket, a top, a golf skirt from the stretch Bengaline, and little golf shorts to wear underneath the skirt. I used these two fabrics for the jacket and the top and for the shorts. All of the patterns that I used were already in my stash. Some had been used before. Actually, 3 of the 4 I had sewn before. For the jacket, I used Kwik Sew 3452, which I think is out of print. And this is a jacket with a stand-up collar, raglan sleeves, side panels. And I used the version with the zip on the front, the quarter zip. And this is designed for fleece or activewear. The top I have sewn before. This pattern is Butterick 6494. This is not designed for activewear fabrics. I sewed this about 4 years ago in French terry. Like the shape, all I did to this was make the sleeves short. And I picked this particular pattern because it has a small stand-up collar, and where I play golf, you still have to have a collared shirt. So I thought this would be a good choice. It also has the princess seams, which allows color blocking, and it meant I could kind of match the jacket, the color blocking on the jacket. For the little shorts, I used Kwik Sew 4044, and I just cut the capri pattern short length. This is a super easy pattern, 2 pieces, plus elastic. I think my finished shorts have a 6-inch inseam, and those shorts will never, ever see the light of day. They will always be worn underneath the golf skirt because I just don't do little shorts. For the golf skirt, I started with a pattern and then adjusted it to make it suitable for golf. And I started with Pamela's Patterns Magic Pencil Skirt. I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes how I changed this skirt from a pencil skirt to a skirt suitable for golf. So I had not worked much with activewear fabric before. When I had worked with it, I'd had difficulty. So I was a little concerned about sewing all of these things, which is why I picked pretty basic patterns. I always like patterns that have raglan sleeves because I don't have to worry about fitting shoulders, and both the top and the jacket have raglan sleeves. And then I could do some nice color blocking. I cut out the shorts, the top and the jacket all together, and I used painter's tape to mark the right side of the fabric, plus which piece went with which garment, because the sleeves were pretty similar for the top and for the jacket, and then the collars and everything. So it just made sense to mark everything really well. When I started cutting out the fabric, I used a rotary blade and soon discovered that I needed a really sharp blade. So I switched out to a brand new blade, and that made a world of difference. And to sew the fabric, I used poly thread and a ballpoint needle. The only tricky piece on the jacket is the zipper. And I got some practice with that because I followed the instructions in the pattern. They're excellent. I've never sewn a zipper in anything like this. And the Kwik Sew instructions are so good. So I sewed in a beautiful zipper. And then I decided to add a decorative pull to it. So I got out my needle nose pliers and tried to take off the existing pull and completely destroyed the zipper. So I had to unpick the zipper with the top stitching and everything and put in a new zipper. And I was super impressed with this pink fabric because it didn't stretch when I did that. And there were no pulls. So this fabric is really nice to work with. Even if you have no experience with knits like this, it doesn't stretch easily, it doesn't get out of shape. If I can unpick a zipper, 3 seam lines to get out the zipper and not stretch it, it's a great fabric in my books. So I sewed the new zipper in, and then I used jewelry pliers to take off the pull and put the decorative pull on. So that was the only tricky bit on the jacket. On the top, as I said, I'd sewn this before, so I knew how to do this opening. And the instructions are very good for this. This is interfaced. The facing is interfaced. And I used a lightweight interfacing from Fashion Fabric Supply. And the only thing I did differently on this was that I top stitched it because this fabric tends to roll. Of course, this doesn't get a really crisp crease when you press it. So I just top stitched there. Otherwise, the top and the jacket are so easy to sew. The shorts are so easy to sew. The fabric is really comfortable. I'm going to show you the whole outfit walking around so you can see it. And then I'm going to show you how I changed the skirt. I'm going to show you the skirt and how I changed it from a pencil skirt to a golf skirt. As I mentioned, I used Pamela's patterns for this, and pencil skirt is exactly 2 pieces that are the same. You shape it by adding darts to the front and or back as needed, but it's straight down. So, I traced the pattern pieces onto Swedish tracing paper. I drew a point 3 inches out from where the skirt hem is supposed to be on the pattern. I drew a line from the hip out to that line to create an A-line shape. Then I wanted to create slits. So I stitched down the side seam after I had tried it on and decided where I wanted darts. I stitched down the side seam to 4.5 inches above the bottom of the hem, which is not yet turned up. The hem is 1.5 inches, so that meant I would have a 3-inch slit. I finished off the sides of the slits. I hemmed the skirt, and then I just catch stitched the edges here so they would be tidy. So now I had the shape that was more like an A-line, and I've got slits so I can walk and move and bend. Then I added pockets. So the first pocket that I added is here on the right side. This pocket I cut 5 inches by 5 inches square. And it's big enough for tees. You can see how much stretch this fabric has. Then I wanted a pocket for golf balls. So I created a much bigger pocket. I think I made this one 6 by 8 before I folded down the edges. And then I put a pleat in it. And I just stitched it on. And this pocket is definitely big enough for some golf balls. So now I have a golf skirt. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this and you have not subscribed, I hope you will subscribe, and I'll see you soon.